Cut. Yeah. All right. Yep. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jerry Bees, and today's a good day. Today is a very good day because if you've been with me since I started this channel, one of the first big albums that I absolutely loved coming out of doing reactions was Brat by Charli XCX. I know I had gotten to that album late when I had reacted to it. The Brat summer had kind of already passed. I think we got to it at the start of the fall, end of the summer, but it was an event. It was a moment in time. You can hear any song off that album and know exactly where you were in the summer of 2024. And I know that there's been re-releases of that, deluxe editions, hidden tracks, remixes, yada, 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 yada. I've been here and there for those, but today, we have really the first true follow-up to what I consider to be a pretty close masterpiece in Brat, as today we are reacting to Wuthering Heights by Charli XCX, which is serving as the soundtrack to the film of the same name. So I don't know if it is a proper, true follow-up, considering that this is a release in support of something else, right? So this is in support of the film of the same name, Margot Robbie, Jacob Elordi. What else is there to say? Other than, I am familiar with Wuthering Heights, right? I was in a British lit class when I was taking community college classes in high school, and the first book we read, outside of all the Lord Byron poems and The Wasteland and just all that crap, was Frankenstein, and the whole class loved Frankenstein. Can we get some W's in the chat for Mary Shelley? So then after we were done with Frankenstein, because Frankenstein's not a long book, we went to Wuthering Heights. And when I tell you nobody in this class liked this book, nobody did. There was 2 girls who liked the book, and all the other girls were like, this is boring as shit. And the guys were like, okay, we're glad that you said that because we just can't get it. And then we watched the Tom Hardy miniseries, because the professor was like, fuck it, okay, I just can't reach these kids. I still vaguely know what the hell happens in the story. So it's forbidden love, it's I'm a poor boy and you're a rich girl and I got trauma. I do really want to see the movie. This adaptation does look quite interesting to me, and seeing the Charli XCX soundtrack, I mean, that's just more reason for me to get my ass in a seat and go see this in the theater. Very excited to get into this, but as always, as we go through this album and as I go through my reactions and explain my thoughts on each song or the album itself, please do let me know your thoughts on my thoughts. If you want to catch us live, make sure you click the links down in the description, and if you happen to miss one of these live streams, go ahead and check out my Patreon, where all album reactions will be uploaded uncut before they come out on YouTube for just $1 a month. It is a bargain at double the price. So here it is, Wuthering Heights, Charli XCX. I was kind of perusing the Wikipedia page. I tend to do no reading, and then if I do any reading on what the album's going to be, because I would like to make this as pure of a reaction as possible and as new things that I'm seeing, and if the chat or the YouTube comments can kind of fill in the blanks for me here. It's seeming to be a pretty big departure sonically from Brat, or a lot of what she's done in the past. I know there's supposedly a lot of collaborators rather on this album as well. Not very different from what she's done in the past, actually. Well, we'll see how true that is. I think that was more so about one of the singles was a big departure. I think it may have been the lead single, but we shall see here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is House featuring John Cale to open up Wuthering Heights by Charli XCX. In the year of our Lord 2026, 12 songs, 34 minutes, 40 seconds, quick little in and out. Let's get this started.
I just want to explain. Explain the circumstances I find myself in. What and who I really am. For what? If it's beauty, do you see beauty? If there's beauty, say it's enough. I think I'm gonna die in this house. I think I'm gonna die in this house.
So unsettling.
I think I'm gonna die in this house.
So one of the things I really appreciate about Charli is that at face value, there is no subtlety. Or at least hardly any, that you can enjoy from looking at it at face value, right? And, like I said, I think if you look a little bit deeper in Brat, right, you could get a lot more out of it. There were some threads that you can pull from that coming to age, existential crises, commentary on lineage, right? All that other stuff, right? And what it means to be a girl and how confusing it is sometimes. It was unsettling from the get-go with those strings. Becky Knight making us all very, very terrified of being alive and listening to this. And then, Charli comes in. I think I'm going to die in this house. Just repeat that. And I don't know how much they're doing in post with how they're producing these strings and whether or not that was multiple takes of Becky on the same cello doing that, but just it was so wide and blah. It is giving suspense. It is giving horror film. It is giving not a great time. When I'm hearing all this and reading and listening to I Think I'm Going to Die in This House, I want to be alive outside. I don't want to be here. And so people were saying that this was really quite enjoyable to be in the theater in IMAX listening to this, and I can only imagine. I don't even have to imagine. I can go see the damn movie. Not an ad for the movie, by the way. And I think just given from this is obviously very cinematic, very dramatic, if not cinematic. It's just spewing drama out of its pores. And I think that's a decent ball you can give to Charli and let her run with it. So I'm excited to see how this evolves a little bit over time. It was kind of weird because I was like, okay, she's doing a soundtrack. Is this going to be like remixes of things we heard off of Brat, just like, maybe another Brat remix, but with Wuthering Heights branded over it. But I think we're in store for something a little bit more original here. Caroline Polachek, Everything is Romantic remix used for the trailer not being included in this is criminal. I was expecting it to, and it's not. So it's already kind of defying some of my expectations here. Wall of Sound. If you've ever been here on the channel before, sometimes I do like to explain big movements of sound where it's just very fat in the ear and it seems to be all-encompassing. It's a very wide mix as being a wall of sound. So when I was looking up the track list for this album and I saw a wall of sound, I'm like, Charli watches the show, guys. Charli watches the show.
No real reason, and I can't escape it. Unbelievable tension, a wall of sound, monolithic. So I'm gonna stay still, 'cause every time I try, talking myself backwards. So unbelievable pressure, wall of sound, love and hatred. Stay still, 'cause every time I try, talking myself backwards away from my desires. Something inside stops me, oh, every time I try, something inside stops me. Tell me that you need me, you're what keeps me breathing, keeps my heart beating. Tell me that you love me, tell me that you need me, tell me that you need me. Unbelievable tension, wall of sound, wall of sound.
All right, so that was Wall of Sound. And Unbelievable Tension, being a lyric here, obviously not synced up with Spotify right now, but I did catch that. Seems to be talking about, right, the plot of the book / movie / BBC miniseries, however you want to cut it up. Again, I got to go back to just watching the trailer because I've been thinking about it, knowing that I'm going to be reacting to this. And like it wasn't going to be just like a straightforward adaptation, that they're actually going to put a little bit more of a spin on it in terms of, I guess in terms of like its set design and I guess maybe like the feel. We're almost getting like an alt Wuthering Heights, and so far the soundscape for this album is proving to not only be consistent with Charli XCX and everything that I've heard from her, but what I've come to know about the film so far and some of the early reviews. Some people don't like it. Some people like it. Bah! Now, as far as this being a wall of sound, maybe in the same ways that I've called other things walls of sound here on the channel, House was way more of a wall of sound than this was, but this was still pretty good. Wow, a lot of people working on this. One thing that I'm really enjoying, and I think I'm going to enjoy through the entirety of this, is the orchestral element of the composition. Dying for You.
Oh no, no, I didn't know. But then I saw your face and realized I was dying for you. Cause you're a gun to my head and you're a wound in my chest. Yeah, you're my favorite jewelry, one just like an I did even know. All the pain and torture that I went through all makes sense to me now. I was dying for you, I was dying for you, I was dying for you. Even right at the end, I'll keep dying for you. Ever since I can remember, I'd set myself on fire and lay down in the road and wait to feel the weight of the tides. But oh, I didn't know why. Oh no, no, I sent gallons of blood. The rivers turned into red. I got a smile on my face. I bleed even more. All the pain and torture that I went through all makes sense to me now. I was dying for you, I was dying for you, I was dying for you. Even right, keep dying for you.
All right, so we had a little bit of an issue there with the lyrics, getting them up on Spotify. That's what Genius is for, I suppose. But yeah, and this is bad for me, right? Because I thought I could just come in and say, well, I've engaged with Wuthering Heights in multiple formats before, albeit a decade ago. Surely I'll be able to talk about the prose of Charli's lyrics in relation to the film or the book. And there's something going on here with that, right? All the pain and torture that I went through, all makes sense to me now. I was dying for you. I know largely you can talk about Wuthering Heights as just like a forbidden love kind of a story, but I know that there's more to it than that. I am just woefully ignorant as to what the specifics of that forbidden love are. I guess it just was one of those. I was like, yeah, I love you, and I am yearning for you to such a degree that I can swim through a river of blood and be perfectly fine with it. My own blood. I don't care. As long as you're there. Here we have Always Everywhere.
On the hillside, shadows chase the dawn. Your name is carved where the wild winds have gone. Black flowers burn, violet fades to grey. Still I hear your laughter tearing through the rain. Calls your name, flash right back at me. Always everywhere, always everywhere. On the water, your face on top of mine. A fevered dream of mirrored features. Every echo calls your name, calls your name, calls your name. Flash right back at me. Always everywhere, yeah, you're everywhere.
So that was Always Everywhere. And ladies and gentlemen, on chorus alone, I love that one a lot. And look, that's one of those things when you are so deeply in love or infatuated with somebody, you could be eating a bowl of Cheerios, and you think that the few remaining Cheerio bits left in the bowl of milk. You can be one of those freaks that eat cereal with water, because I know you exist, right? I'll leave you to it. If you enjoy doing that, say la vie, but you're weird. But you could see their name being seemingly written in the remaining Cheerios that are floating around. Or you go on a walk and you see a puddle that has some rocks sticking out of it. You go, oh man, that looks like their face. They're always everywhere. I just cannot quit thinking about it. But you got to be careful because you can run into some trouble with that. You can run into some trouble with that. Hey, run at love if you can find it. Make sure there's a clear path there. You don't want to be tripping in that puddle. You don't want any spilled milk, right? I guess that doesn't apply if you're one of those freaks that eat cereal with water. But hey, don't cry over spilled water. Chains of Love.
I'd rather drown in a stream. I'd rather let myself on fire. I'd rather wear all these scars. I'd rather like this. It's a breaking of my heart. The chains of love are cold. I shouldn't be like a prisoner. No matter how hard I try, I'm here so permanently, yeah. And I wait for you cold. Days of love won't break. Shattering like glass. It's a breaking of my heart. The chains of love are cold. I shouldn't be like a prisoner. Days of love won't break. Another chains of love won't break.
I can't wait to get violently high and listen to that later. Holy Jesus. We're on a roll now, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're on a roll now between these last two songs. You really like the chorus in that last one, but this one, I mean, I think it's kind of tired commentary as far as like, it's synth, so it's calling back to 80s because synths have evolved to such an extent, but I think there is something to be said about the particular tones that they're using. It throws me back to like maybe a Cyndi Lauper kind of thing, just with like a not existential, but melancholy maybe. Just like thinking back to I was listening to Forever Young the other day, and it's kind of melancholy. It's bittersweet. Because, times change, but you change, but you don't really want to. So you keep this part of you to keep it going. And I get some of the same vibe out of here just musically. And fuck, you look at the lyrics, right? The chains of love are cruel.
Chains of love are cruel. I shouldn't be like a prisoner.
And it's a simple pop song. It's as simple as they come. It really is. In terms of production, I mean, this is still pleasing my ears, especially with the orchestral components going on. But I'd be lying to you if I said that this was like the same, like, oh my God, what the fuck is happening, like Brat was. But this is a different project. I'm able to compartmentalize that in my mind. I'm not completely, comparing the two as I'm listening to every song. Trying to see this for what it is. Maybe it comes off a little bit better while watching the movie. This seems to be the best ad for the movie that I could possibly imagine. Charli reheated her True Romance nachos, so that is a point that people were bringing up earlier here on the stream. I haven't listened to, I believe that is Charli's debut, or at least one of her earlier works. That maybe a lot of the sounds on this record sound a lot like what she was doing then. I poo-poo on me for all of eternity for not getting to that yet. Charli did say that they are sisters, this album and in True Romance. But no, like in this, let's see if we can kind of keep up the pace. These last two songs got me in a pretty good mood. Back when me and 5 other people knew about Charli, yeah. This is Out for Myself.
If you take me out of myself, who am I? Am I a girl?
Dude, the strings.
Push my cheek
God.
into the stone. You take me out of myself. I'm begging to you on my knees. Please wrap the salt in my wounds. Out of myself. Who am I? Am I a girl?
Give it up for the bass section. Holy balls. But, yeah, no, the orchestra here, specifically the cellos and basses, I don't know how they recorded those or what they did to them in post, but, man, talk about a wall of sound. I loved that. You know, we're getting a little, it's getting a little hot in here, I think. Fingers gripping the floorboards, holding on tight. Forbidden fruit brought me back to life. Put the rope between my teeth. Please rub salt in my wounds. Begging on my knees. Begging might not be the only thing you're doing on your knees. Come on now. What the hell? She said it, not me. They freaky. They certainly are. So, you know, Saints Wuthering Heights is this story of forbidden love, forbidden fruit, right? You know, kind of like, ooh, I shouldn't be doing this. So you can kind of extrapolate that to maybe other things like, ooh, this is naughty. Shouldn't be doing this. But that's why it's exciting, you know. And with you know, when we were listening to the bad songs of 2025, there was that one like hard electronic song, 69, right? You can imagine what it's about. You know, very kind of dark in a way, just kind of loud and kind of pulsing and booming. This one felt like kind of light. Take me out of myself. Like I'm so glad you're doing that to me. You know, I'm not necessarily seething in this naughtiness in a way that, you know, I'm trying to rectify other past traumas. This is more so like, oh no, this is exciting. Who am I? Like you take me out of myself. You know, I'm becoming another person because of you, or we are becoming one, maybe, right? Takes two to tango. 90-second interlude, open up. Interlude. It was nice. It was a nice little soundscape. Yeah, that's what I'm saying for that one. If you have anything more to add about that 90-second interlude where Charli XCX is just saying open up a bunch, please do let me know. All right, we got Seeing Things.
I was in the winter on a busy crossroads. Saw a man about your height just walking. Same kind of shoulder.
Love the pianos on this one. So that was Seeing Things, and Mr. Who we got on piano? Jonathan Byers on cello. Oh, come on, we're crediting everybody else. Violin, cello, violin, viola, violin, double bass. All right, well, the piano was my favorite part of this one, and we can't find the credits. So whoever you were, give yourself a round of applause because I enjoyed that. Might just be the producer. Might just be as simple as that. Simple as my friends down under might say. But no, and I think this one kind of goes back to Always Everywhere. You know, just seeing things. Maybe all that time I spent talking about Cheerios and bowls of water and rocks sticking out of puddles really should have been captured here. I think it's to the same kind of effect. Seems as though Catherine is in a bad way. Not being able to see her mans in reality. So she's schizopilled, as the kids say. She's tweaking out, as the kids might say. But I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. Which, like, I'm waiting for the inevitable crash and emotional torment of this album. Because there are, there is some torment. I'm like, oh, is that you? No, that's not you. Oh, is that you? No, that's not you. But I'm kind of waiting for the composition to kind of match that, like we got in-house, where it was just, like, terrifying. I'm expecting to see some tragedy come out of the composition itself, and so far it's been very fun. All right, let's get this is see, now Alter sounds like it would be scary just by name alone.
You were my perfect blue, my hands together in a search for one is not the loneliest number. Won't keep putting all my faith in you. One is baby, now I can see you're gonna end up killing me. As I lie awake, could be together in forbidden scenes. My mind is torturing my body.
Cut.
One
Yeah.
is not
Yep.
now I can see you're gonna end up killing me. I must only be one.
Cannot wait for the remix album of this album to come out. Mainly for this song, because this was by far my favorite chorus, and it really goes back to Charli's melodies on this one. Really like that one. And lyrically, we don't typically pull up Genius here. I'm pulling up Genius because we don't have the lyrics on Spotify. I should have known that. I know that Spotify's bad at getting lyrics for like brand new releases for every song. I'm very hesitant to click on these, but it's way more fun to see me talk aimlessly about shit that I interpret, and it gives you guys a chance to let me know. Does Catherine have like a, lack of a better term, come to Jesus moment as she's kind of dealing with these emotions? Like, I kneel before your altar, having faith in you, something, or is she using Heathcliff as like a metaphor for God? Won't keep putting all my faith in you. Am I clocking this, ladies and gentlemen, or am I to be taking this quite literally in terms of, she's kind of having some struggles with the Lord? I did read the book, but I didn't retain any of it. I've seen the I've seen the Tom Hardy one. I didn't retain any of it. Again, none of the class, like when we were reading Frankenstein, everybody was like, oh, did you get to this part yet? Did you get to that part yet? Like, everybody was into Frankenstein. But, like, there were, like, 2 people in the class that were into this. And the professor was like, screw it. I'm already teaching a class full of high schoolers. I've seen the miniseries, but we're going on probably more than a decade since I've seen it. So hardly any of this has been retained. I hate the book. But now, see, this is the best advertisement for the movie you could have, because now I'm intrigued. Yeah, so we got Eyes of the World featuring Sky Ferreira. If that is how you pronounce it, that's how I've always heard. I haven't heard the name in a long time, but here we go. Takes me back to high school.
Mind, something that you recognize. Do you think you know me now? Always suspicious because you're no mash upon the cross until I scream. Oh, the eyes of the world keep me believing. Set me
Ooh.
let the fire rush straight to my head. Sabotage to prove I think the things you think about me anyway. Put my flesh up on the cross until I scream. The eyes of the world keep me believing.
Oh, so this one was a little bit more dramatic, right? I thought Altars was going to be it. Wasn't Altars, but that's okay. This one, I'm just waiting to be like, so just, ugh. And we're getting a little bit closer with that, you know, definitely with this one, very dramatic kinds of songwriting here. And I know that somebody, you know, I believe it was Exactly here in the chat. You know, this isn't really that far of a departure from things that she's done in the past, but I can only comment on what I've kind of heard, and that's been, I will say it's a departure in the sense of pace. You know, Charli does utilize some slower songs and everything that I've heard. This is, I mean, in comparison, and not in a bad way, but a snail's pace in comparison. But I think given some of the dramatic flavor here, I think that it's a pace that's well suited for the project. Obviously, here, you know, this kind of last crash towards the chorus was pretty violent, you know, or at least just loud. Maybe calling back to that wall of sound idea that I was talking about a little bit earlier. You know, it hasn't been the greatest pairing of maybe electronic and orchestral, but when it does work, it flippin' works. Now, obviously here, with this song included and the other two tracks that are to follow, we're getting into the longer tracks here, and they're still all under 4 minutes. And, you know, maybe you could hope for some more weird things going on in the production of things. The Brat onlys are going to get whiplash from this project. I think Charli's core audience, not so much. Yeah, I wouldn't even call it whiplash, because there's been those moments of, you know, I know Charli called Brat, you know, her most confrontational album. I wouldn't call this confrontational, but there are definitely moments where it is a little bit more in your face, I believe, and I think that's coming through the production, not so much with the lyrics. You know, I think with the lyrics, you are kind of contained from the project you are supporting, which is obviously the movie of Wuthering Heights. But nothing's like falling utterly flat for me.
You're always my reminder of where I started from. You're always my reminder. I'll never prove you wrong. My reminder.
people are really saying that this is very indicative, very similar to maybe some of Charli's earlier work in True Romance. Not only is this proven to be a great ad for the film, this video is not an ad for the film, not sponsored, nor the album, right? I just kind of do this shit. But it might even prove to, finally get a fire lit under my ass to finally listen to the older Charli XCX stuff. It's perfectly listenable. It just here, I think largely for me here, the novelty in hearing it just being something that's different, it might not even be that novel in reality. Are hearing the orchestral elements with Charli, with the electronic components, especially like towards the end, we got some weird modified violins or strings going on, especially in that last chorus, but a little bit in between the verse and the pre-chorus as well. That, keeps it interesting, keeps me on my toes a little bit. And Joe Keery's on this one. So Joe Keery of Joe fame. Joe Keery has done nothing else with his career outside of back to Chicago and this song. It's really strange, but stranger things have happened. So here we have Funny Mouth.
Unfunny words from your funny mouth, I take them inside. Are you man enough to come but in your mouth? Will we be alive?
What the fuck?
There's a light, don't let it go out. Take it in stride, put your foot in your mouth. Will we be alright?
Oh?
And everyone wakes up. Everyone's
So that was Funny Mouth, the last song off of Wuthering Heights by Charli XCX. Where was Joe Keery? What was he doing here? Was he in the vocals somewhere? Oh, he's a writer. He's a writer on this one. Okay, so yeah, it would have said here, this album's done a pretty good job at saying, okay, Eyes of the World featuring Sky Ferreira, we caught that, right? Featuring John Cale, we caught that. So he's a writer on it. Thank you for clarifying. I had seen somebody mention writer in the chat before, but I didn't know as to what. Yep. Okay. So Joe Keery was credited as a writer along with Scarlett Atchison, right? Charli XCX herself, praise be, and Finn Keen doing the writing and producing for a lot of this, or at least a lot of the production on this one. I mean, yeah, it's cohesive. The album ends in a very cohesive sense, in the same way that a lot of the other songs have been. Like it's very consistent sonically speaking, and I suppose lyrically as well, with the strings, with really no bops, nothing going over any beats per minute that'll break your neck. It's all kind of even keeled, it's all kind of, like being in love or having feelings is difficult. People's so confusing. It's the antithesis for Brat. I would say the antithesis for Brat would be like Gregorian chants. Let's just get to the conclusions here. Yeah, I wasn't completely blown away by this one, but for me, I was just very excited to see what the follow-up for Charli XCX from the enormous summer that she had a couple years ago. I still got to see that mockumentary that came out So still haven't gotten around to that one, and I got to see Wuthering Heights apparently because I've just been talking out of my ass about it this entire time. But I can't. Wuthering Heights is one of those where I've engaged with it so many times. One of these few IPs that I've engaged with, and still none of it has been retained. It's like that and Game of Thrones. I've tried to watch Game of Thrones so many goddamn times, and I just can't do it. Love Lord of the Rings. Love fantasy. Love sci-fi. All that nerdy shit. Game of Thrones just never clocked to me. I don't know why. But here, this was nice, at least for me, you know, somebody who never listened to True Romance, right? Maybe some more apt comparisons between that project from Charli, a much earlier project, and this one as far as maybe the familiarity with some of the sounds and some of the atmospheres that she's laying down. But it was all new to me. Yeah, I liked it. You know, I really do feel like, you know, Dying for You, Always Everywhere, Chains of Love. The strings on Out of Myself were fantastic. Really, I'd say a good portion of the middle of this album really kind of had me. Open Up was a very fair kind of interlude, way to break up the album, right? And it's placed accordingly, right in the middle of the album. Maybe some kind of a tonal shift there. It does seem to get a little bit slower after that, and, you know, given some of the, you know, track lengths here, that seems to be all right. Really enjoyed some of Charli's melodies here. You know, it wasn't so much of the melodies that I even really took away from a lot of the things I've heard from her before, but they came through here quite well on a lot of these songs. Wuthering Heights is a Kate Bush song to me and nothing else. I know that, yeah, so when I was trying to do just a little bit of surface level research for this, a lot of the Kate Bush stuff was coming up. I've never listened to that title from Kate Bush. I can see, somebody was like, oh, this is giving Kate Bush core right here. Whichever song had the, like, piano in it. And I really did enjoy that. I feel like the piano didn't get enough time to really go crazy on this, but it was for the strings, right? And they kept it cohesive throughout. I think if you're looking at Charli XCX at this point, you know, nothing's going to be a complete snooze fest. Yeah, it was nothing entirely world-breaking. Perfectly listenable in every way, shape, and form. I know, just looking at like the track listing for Wikipedia, it's great to at least open up a project in support of something else, right? So here being the film, making films, filmmaking is a very collaborative effort in general, and there's features and collabs all through this album, and so I like that aspect to it quite a bit, actually. I do love this. The album cover is so good to me. I'm not quite sure what I'm looking at. It's unfair to even consider this as a proper follow-up to Brat anyway, since it's a soundtrack album. You know, Blair, I don't know if you're here at the beginning. I did kind of allude to that before, where I'm seeing this as a true follow-up, but I really shouldn't call it that because it is a soundtrack to something else. You know, I think I'd even said that in terms of the songwriting, you know, just with the lyrics, in terms of, you know, this may kind of equal Charli's style, but she is being contained to a decent degree, and like, hey, let's kind of keep it within the scope. Whereas if she was doing literally anything else, maybe we would have gotten some different themes. Actually, I think we would have, for certain, we would have gotten that. I suppose a follow-up, not a true follow-up in the sense where this is an original studio album, but a studio album nonetheless. And a pretty decent one at that. You're not going to forget what Charli brings to the table. Yeah, I think if I were to go maybe see this movie in theaters and I hear some of those sounds where, you know, I mean, god damn, just like what we hear in House is just...
It's enough.
Any of these songs played on just great cinema speakers, I think when you add the audio and the visual elements together, I think, and of course with watching the film, I think when you put the audio and the visual components together, it might come through a little bit more, and we get a little bit more cohesiveness out of just the theming, the atmosphere, and the aesthetic. But just listen to this, yeah, I like it. Oh, I like how the LP is like a doily. Check that out. I like that. I like the doily LP. No, that's the CD. The CD's a doily. Never mind. It is a Charli album, but it's also a soundtrack album. At the end of the day, Blair, I do have to agree with you there. It is limited to that, unfortunately, but I don't think you're left with wanting a ton if you know that it is a soundtrack album. I wouldn't mind a whole album that sounded like House from Charli, 100%. If I can just be scared to death the entire time, I'd be fine. So that was my reaction to Wuthering Heights by Charli XCX. Sorry for, not maybe connecting all the dots with Wuthering Heights from all of the subject matter material that exists for it, but I'm probably gonna go see this movie. But tell me what you thought of the album. I thought it was pretty good. Didn't blow me away, but I compare a little bit too much here on the channel. But please do let me know your thoughts on my thoughts down in the comments below. If you wanted to see this reaction uncut or any other album reaction that I do before it comes out on YouTube, go ahead and check out my Patreon. You can get exactly that for $1. If you want to catch us live, make sure you click the links down in the description. Merch now, go check that out too. I even maybe have a Charli XCX inspired pin, but not really because of copyright, right? You feel me. And I got links to other channels and other various things that I do that you might find interesting. So go ahead and check those out. You're not gonna die clicking those links. But with all that said, I've been Jerry Bees. You've been awesome. Take it easy.
Diggity dog. Breaking. Diggity dog.